welcome to Follow Startups. I'm your host, Ankita Pahwa. The startup in the spotlight today is a perfect blend of simplicity and innovation, proving that sometimes the most effective ideas are the simplest ones. Wittypen, as fun as it sounds, is a fascinating content writing marketplace for businesses and a literal blessing for writers. Anshul Motwani, the co-founder and CEO of Wittypen, is right here with me as we speak, ready to tell us all about his platform that's basically a win-win for both businesses and writers alike. Hi Anshul, welcome to Follow Startups.
Hi Ankita, thank you for inviting me and really lovely to be here.
Thank you, Anshul. Okay, so before we get to talking about this content writing wonderland of yours, tell us something about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Anshul. I started Wittypen right out of my college when I was 22. It's been like 7, 8 years. We've been building this company. I did my engineering. I come from a town called Jabalpur, right? But then I moved here to Pune, and we have been building the company here since the last 7, 8 years. Content, marketing, and working with customers has how we've spent the last 7 years. I personally like a lot of when I spend the time that I'm not working at Wittypen, I would either go back into reading or I would spend some time cooking as well.
Lovely. So Witty Pen, with its witty name, has us all intrigued. Tell us what's it all about? What happens at Witty Pen?
Yes, absolutely. So today, what we do at Wittypen is we actually work with businesses to help them create content for all their marketing channels, right? These are long form channels like blogs, white papers, ebooks, things like that. And then we work with some of the largest brands in India, right? So from Freshworks to Swiggy to Home Lane to Square Yards. So all of these businesses that we have done content with so far. And today we have more than 1,500 writers, across India who are working with us, vetted out of more than 35,000 applicants. So today, at any point of time, we'll do thousands of content pieces every month, and all of this sort of is backed by and managed by the platform that we have built. So tech sort of sits at the core and helps us manage the scale that we handle at Wittypen.
Wow. So are there any specific industries that you mainly cater to? Like give us a tour of your primary target market.
Yeah, absolutely. So today, although we have around 26 domains at Wittypen, which would range from art and lifestyle going up to cryptography, or Bitcoin and other aspects as well. But today, majority of the business that we do is around finance, healthcare, education, and SaaS. Right? So these are the couple of key areas where customers come from.
So with such a diverse range of enterprises you have worked with, I can imagine there must have been a multitude of unique content needs that cropped up. So talk to us about some of your past customers and how you've helped them achieve their content goals.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, in fact, very recently, right? So we have worked with multiple businesses. For example, I take a company called as Square Yards, right? So which is a very large real estate organization. And then their objective was to actually help people make better real estate decisions, right? So in that, so when you think about real estate, which is a very high ticket size sort of a purchase, at the same point of time, there's a large user base that actually consistently searches about it. So their objective was that, hey, how can we really stand out in the market when it comes to search, and when people find search for anything around real estate, can read Square Yards sort of list there. So we partnered with the Square Yards team, help them scale their large content volumes into larger numbers, help them do landing pages, articles, and all sorts of these things, which is sort of helping them get millions of users organically on their website today. On the other hand, if I were to think of someone from a B2B perspective, right? So we work with companies like MoEngage, Freshworks, which are very strong SaaS businesses, and their objective is to drive very high quality thought leadership sort of content for their end users. This is something that you just can't do it on the fly, right? You need writers who understand your product, who can understand your target audience, and then they spend the time to research and create those articles, right? So that is where we were able to, identify people who understand this, and we got them on board. We worked with them and helped them create some of these content pieces, and we've been working for these customers for many years.
So you said you established, it's been 7 to 8 years since you established, right? So
Yeah.
how would you describe to us the current stage of your business?
So I think today this is definitely a very interesting time for us as an inflection point. I think when I remember when we started at Wittypen, back in 2015-16, the entire conversation used to be around that. Hey, do people even create content, right? I'll be very honest, right? And that is where we basically started, where the value of content was very little, and the methods of SEO were also very different at that particular time. But the time has changed now. If you think of it, content marketing is a very, very strong part of any organization's growth journey, right? So they want to consistently spend time in creating content that helps their users, that helps them drive their organic traffic, that reduces their cost of customer acquisition. So like initially we had to do a lot of these conferences. I was part of a lot of conferences doing speaker sessions and all of that, talking about and educating users around content marketing. I think the times have changed, and while that time changed, very interestingly, our organization also changed, right? So our very strong focus has been always on the entire focus of quality, right? So every single year as we grow, we try to do much better at the kind of quality that we can generate out of content. And this starts right at the place on how we would get a very strong writer to our internal platform, to the checks that we have added, and to the kind of editors that we work with internally as well. So we have an editorial layer at Wittypen, Ankita, which checks for every single content that we deliver, right? So those kind of things that have happened very naturally, to be very honest. But the other inflection point is also happening is that today at Wittypen we are looking at our user, which are mostly marketers, in from a lifestyle perspective, and we are thinking that, hey, now that in the last 6 7 months we have seen a huge growth in terms of AI and a lot of adoption, we're thinking that, hey, can we really make our users life more simpler, right? So we are introducing a lot of tools in that life cycle. I think we just launched two tools very recently. The idea is that, hey, can people use those tools and save like 70 to 80% of the time doing the same sort of task, right? Making that more efficient and more productive. So that's a very interesting journey that we are in. I think we are also adopting and rebuilding ourselves in a new shape, so that while we have productized the services business, which has been there for so many years, very well, we are actually launching, building new products on top of what we have had. And the best part, and what I've been actually talking to customers and hearing from them is, see, we've done the hard job for all these years, right? We have done content, spent time on strategies, delivered, a lot of standardization that we could get into our content deliverabilities. All that knowledge, right? All that knowledge we are now translating it to some of these products that we are getting in for our customers, right? While someone else would look at it from a technology perspective, that, hey, how can I use Gen AI, we're essentially looking at it from a use case perspective first, right? That how can a marketer really solve that problem, and then figuring out, okay, what technology can be can add as a value there. So I think that change is happening, and that's a very positive feedback I'm also hearing from our customers, saying that, hey, this is genuinely helping us save a lot of time in our days.
That's amazing. So, do you have any impressive stats that you would like to share with us that showcase Witty Pen's journey to success so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think in organizations, I mean, the metrics that really matter are just two things. One is the kind of outcomes they've had and the kind of lives they've sort of touched, right? So today, like I said, we've done like more than like 50 to 60,000 long form pieces at Wittypen. And there would be another tens of thousands which are maybe shorter form, and I'm not really including them here, right? So think of like a very, very large volumes of content pieces that we have been creating on this journey today. And another aspect is the kind of lives we touch, right? So today, like I said, we have more than 1,500 writers who are working with us. These writers are vetted writers, right? Coming from very good backgrounds, professionals who have a good amount of experience, because I'll be honest, at Wittypen we pay well to our writers, so they are genuinely earning an income out of Wittypen, and vetted out of more than 35,000 applicants on our platform, right? So these 1,500 writers, another very interesting metric which is sort of very valuable to us, is that more than 75% of these writers are women, right? And this is something that sort of very interestingly happened over the last couple of years, and we identified that a lot of women I mean, when it came to content, apparently it was very clear that a lot of women were doing much better, and these women are, professionals who could not really continue their career at work, or who want like more flexibility at the way they are working. So I think that has been a very very clear contribution for us, and which shows that hey, we've been able to sort of build a larger ecosystem where people can work remotely, right? So that has been another very crucial thing that we've seen happening at Wittypen.
50 to 60,000 pieces. That's a number you get
Yeah.
wowed at. So now, could you elaborate on how your business operates financially? Like, what's your revenue model?
Yeah, so it's a very simple. So we are managed marketplace, right? So
Mm.
we charge like say X to a particular customer. There's a specific percentage that goes to the writer. The remaining difference is what we make, right? So for example, we just charge the customer. We do not charge anything to writers. Obviously, we sell content. We charge customers on a per content basis. Say a customer would take 5, 10, or even 100 articles in a month. They would pay us for that. We At the back of it, we have got multiple writers who would work on that particular project. Once we close a project, we pay out to the writers. The remaining is what we get. So it's a classic marketplace model. It's just that because we're a managed marketplace, the efforts that we have to put in is slightly larger, and hence we charge that sort of extra service fee in terms of gross margins to our customers, right? And so we charge our customers, and then we pay a part of it to our writers.
All right. And where are you based out of?
So we're based in Pune, but we work with customers across, across the globe. To be honest, yeah.
Oh, and like which countries do you have your operations running in?
Yeah, so I think for us, operation is very simple. While the execution team sits here in Pune in India, but the customers can eventually come from US, UK, UAE as a market, Australia as a market, Canada as well, right? Where customers would search us online, find our website, and then they would come and work with us, for the content that they need, and we would service from here from India.
That's amazing. So today the content landscape is immensely competitive, especially with the advent of tools
Right.
like ChatGPT, Copy.ai, the list goes on. Where content creation has become more accessible and easier than ever, I would say. So with such
Right.
advancements, how do you see it impacting the broader content writing ecosystem? And how does it affect you,
So that's a very
most importantly? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that question, and that's why I simply hopped onto it. And that's something that been very close to us here at Wittypen. Because it just shapes on how you make decisions, right? So what AI has done. See, if you look at the entire concept of why even tools like ChatGPT were launched, were to make people's life easier, right? And we believe that, right? I think we believe that it's becoming very easy for people, and there are two perspectives that eventually come out of it, right? So here's the thing, right? First thing is, people who write better are the ones who actually are better thinkers, right? So what ChatGPT and some of these tools have done is has given the capability of language to a lot of people. So I believe a lot of people who were hesitating to be creators until now can become creators, can become writers, can and then use that tool, the skill of language, to actually communicate their ideas, right? Irrespective of what backgrounds, what locations, what regions they come from, right? So there's a lot of enablement that's happening in the entire content ecosystem, right? The second thing, which I would now think of it more from a business perspective, is that today, because ChatGPT came out, because some of these tools came out, suddenly the quality expectations of the customers went up significantly high, right? Because if until now, if X people were writing about a particular topic to get ranked on Google, suddenly that went to 10x, because now it's so easy. People would, if some people are trying to use GPT to do that, a lot of serious businesses want to still go back and depend on human content to get those original insights out, right? So when I'm talking to my customers today, they are very very specific that hey, we don't care, ChatGPT is there, all these tools are coming out, but we want human written content because we know there's a lot of value. We know there could be very original insights, examples, and because when you're writing an article, if I'm a human, I can include information that happened just today, right, and make it a part of content, which is not really very easy to do it using AI, right? Because it doesn't have a lot of context. When you think about emotions, the way you put in context, I think that is where classically GPT has been failing, right? So while a lot of basic, mediocre, fundamental level content can be done well through GPT, we've been seeing that customers are prioritizing humans whenever the value of content goes up. Today we launched, very recently we launched these two tools. One of the tools is, which helps you create content calendars, right? That's another thing where a lot of content marketing people spend time to create these calendars every month. The other thing is, which will help you create content briefs, right? So initially, people used to struggle creating these long pager briefs, right? So today our tool helps you create like a 1.5 page very detailed brief from your target audience, to structures, to what questions, to FAQs, to what subheads should be, including all of that, but it would take hardly a minute for you, right? So that is where we thought that, hey, can we really use AI and save our customers a lot of time on what they're doing? And that perspective is something that's being embraced all across.
Absolutely. So content as a business, content writing as a business per se, has been around for almost 2 decades now. And the impact you've been
Yeah.
creating for both businesses and writers is truly remarkable, Anshul. It's a story worth remembering. So with that in mind, tell us, has Wittypen garnered support from any investors so far?
No, so we've had amazing people on our board, honestly, who've supported, and then a lot of friends and well wishers. But I think one of the biggest investors at Wittypen have been our customers, right? So we've worked with customers and built this journey all across with them, learning from them, and they've genuinely just trusted and invested in us by being our customers eventually, and that's how the company has grown so far.
That's great to know, Anshul. Hey, so you also have a co-founder, if I'm not wrong, right?
So Preetesh is my co-founder at Wittypen, been my partner all across this journey of all the highs and lows. Perfect person, right? Who's got my back, to actually be honest, right? So he leads technology today. So everything, while I take care a lot of the growth function of it at Wittypen, but what we have today in terms of all the products and the platform today is something that Preetesh has very consistently contributed to, and someone who I keep going back to when I have to take my thoughts from a very subjective to an objective level, right? Because being an engineer, being a tech guy, that's how essentially you think.
Yeah.
So that's how we sort of try to complement each other when we are making decisions at Wittypen.
So, besides the two of you and your extensive network of freelance writers, could you give us an idea of the rest of your
Yeah.
team and their roles at Wittypen?
Yes, absolutely. So we are a very lean team of around 20-25 people. It constitutes of people in operations to editing team to tech team to sales and marketing. Right. Apart from me and me and Preetesh, there are a couple of other folks who lead. So today, Tonmai leads our editorial division, who takes care of all the content quality that we deliver at Wittypen, doing a lot of R&D around some of these AI as a niche as well, on how we are building, how we are doing, delivering and improving the content quality on a day-to-day basis. Vinita takes care of all the operations and delivery, right? So she's another very strong, person at Wittypen, who takes care of all the deliveries across our customers. So I think, and then obviously everyone else in the organizations, has actually helped us stay lean, because everyone we don't have this management sort of a funda. We are a very flat hierarchical sort of an organization, and everyone manages their own tasks. So I think that is something that has helped us stay very lean, stay very fast on what and how we sort of execute on a day-to-day basis.
That's amazing. And are there any exciting opportunities for new talents to join your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're constant. At the moment, in fact, we are actually hiring for the growth roles at Wittypen. So both in sales and marketing, we're looking forward to get people on board. Both from a mid-level to a senior level as well. I think these are the two verticals that we're actually hiring for right now.
Now, for those listening, there's your chance to apply. So, apart from these, Anshul, if anyone wants to join Wittypen as a freelance writer, so what qualities and skills do you look for
Sure.
in them? Like, how do you ensure and verify the credibility of your writers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've significantly automated this entire process. where any writer who wants to, so they don't have to go with any of the tedious process that they would go in a job, but here it's more on the platform driven, right? So where so today when a writer comes up as an applicant, they come, then they go through a particular test, right, where we evaluate their language skills to start with, right? Once they simply do a clear the cutoff for that test, there's a second level where people have to pick the niches that they come from, because we believe that you can only have strength in some of those niches. So they would pick out of the 26 domains that we have today, they can pick the niche that they really like writing about, right? Because that's how we prioritize their projects, right? So if they can pick, so they're allowed to pick around 3 domains to start with. Once they do, they have to go through the sample process on that particular domain, and once they do, our team sort of evaluates them, and then we sort of get them on board. Once they are on board, there's a very clear handbook that we shared with them so that they can understand how we work, and they can also look at all the tasks in the project which are available for them to actually start working on. We do not have a bidding process like you have in Upwork and Fiverr process, as a platform. We have a very clear, depending on your background, depending on the niche, and depending on your level as a writer at Wittypen, we give you the task, right? And then we consistently also rate writers on their every single delivery. So this keeps the entire process very, very simple, very transparent, and writers start working with us much faster, and they don't have to go through this entire process of bidding to customers, talking to them, pitching to them, and they can get started to getting the work in a much faster way as well.
Wow, I think it's your business model that's your USP, which differentiates you from a traditional content writing agency, I would say. So as we near the end of this conversation, Anshul, tell us what exciting plans does Wittypen have in store for the next 12 months, and what's the thing that you are most looking forward to in this journey?
No, absolutely. I think over the conversation, Ankita, I did hint about our entire idea about how we are actually tapping the entire life cycle, or a day-to-day task of a particular content marketer, right? And then we're trying to solve that through our platform itself, right? So while we continue to double down on the quality, right, which has been the very core for all these years. So we're doubling down on how better quality of content we do. We're also thinking and building tools which will help a user, help a marketer actually solve and save a lot of time on a day-to-day basis. So this is sort of a very, very interesting way for us to actually grow in the next couple of months as well. We have a large list of tools that we plan to resolve, and the way we also actually build, I'll be very honest, at Wittypen is, we think from a very first principle perspective. We don't want to complicate it for our users as well. So we're not really going to go back and load our customers with very large, heavy, enterprisey sort of platforms. We've kept it flexible earlier. We keep it similarly right now. A team, a company who has a single marketer or a founder who's driving their marketing, to a company where they have hundreds of people working with their marketing, can actually come and work with Wittypen, right? So can actually come and work with us from a content perspective, and also start using our tools, right? So that's very simple for people to just come, sign up, look at what we have to offer. Our pricings have been very transparent since day one, right? So I think that these are certain fundamentals that we sort of try to continue to stick to, which actually helps us make the entire user journey more seamless, right? So I think that's going to be very key for the next 12 months as well.
Impressive. So looking back at your journey as an entrepreneur from the time of your graduation to now, what are the top three things that
Yeah.
have fueled your success?
I think you mentioned fuel is something that an entrepreneur has to do almost every other day, right? So for an entrepreneur, the life is a very roller coaster, and I think I learned it the hard way while building Wittypen. So few things. I mean, it just work. I think while we obviously say we romanticize entrepreneurship, and very much so, because it's very necessary for our ecosystem and for our country to grow. I think people who are really in it to solve for a problem should be the ones choosing to build a company, because it takes time. I think for us it's been like the last 7-8 years. We are here for the next decade as well, and maybe more, right? So if we're here for the long run, it just works, because it's just the problem that you're trying to solve, is the way that you sort of work with the customer, the kind of impact that you're building is something that actually keeps you going. I don't really believe if it's only the financial outcomes or some sort of a fame that some entrepreneurs get is the key for driving growth. I think it's just this love for the problem that they're trying to solve, and the impact they're building is the key fuel for them, and that's essentially how it's been for me as well.
Anshul, considering we have plans to promote this video to large enterprises, investors, tech giants, and a broader ecosystem, is there anything else, anything specific that you'd like to mention that could help you find any kind of external assistance that you require?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what would help, Ankita, is in a very interestingly, in the last couple of years, we have seen a very keen inbound interest from multiple geographies across the globe. Who want to work and partner with Wittypen for their content. I think if we have people who are based out of other geographies, I think that is why we are very happy to sort of partner with, and I'm sure if followers can actually help us get some visibility there as well. So building those partnership at a global level is what we are very keen on, and because that's sort of a part of our next 12-month plan of taking Wittypen global.
I wish you all the best. But like before we conclude this,
Thanks a lot.
let's do a quick lightning round. I've prepared five rapid questions for you, Anshul. Are you ready?
Okay.
They're very easy, don't
Sure.
worry. Okay, so question number one, a book that you would recommend to the youth.
Shoe dog, any day.
Okay, which productivity tool or app do you find most helpful in your day-to-day work?
Uh, I've tried a lot. I do have a to-do list which I manage on a, I mean, which I use at work as well for myself. But trust me, and a pen and a paper does most of the productivity jobs that many tools sort of think of doing. So just get a pen, get a paper, and it's just gonna make your life much easier.
A paper and a witty pen, I would say. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, so a fun fact about you that most people don't know.
I do make very good dosas, by the way.
Wow. Okay, so what's one quality you think is crucial for a founder's success?
It's just persistence. I mean, that persistence to actually stay at it. If you know what the direction is, outcomes might be, I'm not sure, but if you're persistent at what you want to achieve, I think things do work out, right? So you just have to be there and hang in there for a long time.
Yes. And lastly, what's one piece of advice for the young audience watching this?
I think with persistence, the another thing which sort of works also is consistency. I think when I look at, say, when people are starting new projects or starting new initiatives, there's a very high level bar of activity
Hmm.
which sort of dies down as you go forward. I think consistency is very key, right? So if you're young, you're doing project, doing work, doing a job, whatever. I think while you're persisting, be very consistent on how you do your activities on a day-to-day basis, because it compounds over the time, right? Like a lot of finance gurus talk about consistency in investment, which sort of results in long-term gains. It's very similar to our inputs in our day-to-day lives. So whatever professional job we have, if you're very consistent to it, I'm sure it's gonna result multiple folds of outcomes in the long run.
Yes. Anshul, it's been a pleasure, and I hope this was worthy of your time. But before I let you go, I'd like
No,
you to make
absolutely.
a wish for your startup that you hope comes true in the near future. Like make one wish for Witty Pen.
Very simple. We want to employ at least 1 lakh writers in India.
Wow. You will, you will. Well, cheers to the future of Witty Pen.
Yes, we just want to ensure that we enable 1 lakh writers to make money, to make living out of Wittypen. Trust me, when we were starting Wittypen, writers were very hesitant. They were doing as a part of their hobby. They were doing on the weekends. Still, a lot of people do that. But there are so many writers who depend on Wittypen as their sole, source of income, and nothing makes me happy more than that, right? So we just want to scale it to like 1,000x from here.
Sweet. I wish you all the best, Anshul. And I wish that we get to discuss all your future accomplishments right here at Follow Startups. So that's my wish.
Absolutely, and all the best for the journey and followers as well. Thanks, Angita. It's been a lovely conversation.
If you'd like to stay updated with the latest developments and business insights at Wittypen, you can follow their channel on follow.us/startups. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for another conversation. Until next time.